tonight. But I digress. I've got Jeb Hensarling here of the fine state of Texas, what he is going to be watching for. Congressman, very good to have you.
No, thanks for having me again.
Now, you guys have the seating arrangement again. It's the kumbaya thing. You sit next to Democrats and everyone, they all mix and matches. How's that going to work out?
There's no reserved seating on the House floor, so you just sit where you want to sit.
Sit with whoever you want with. What do you make of I mentioned, Congressman, this in-your-face approach the president's taking tonight on financial types, on rich individuals who we will argue have to pay more, the whole shindig. What do you make of it?
Well, I haven't had an opportunity to hear the speech yet, but if I was the president, I'd change the subject too. Clearly, the president can't run on his record. I mean, here we have a president whose policies have failed. We gave him we, the Congress, not my party, gave him every major legislative proposal he wanted. The stimulus, we were told the economy would improve, there'd be more jobs. His health care plan, we were told more jobs, the economy would improve. Dodd-Frank, we were told more jobs and the economy would improve, and instead, 2 million more Americans have lost their jobs. We have the highest sustained period of high unemployment since the Great Depression. We just learned from the Census Bureau that half of Americans are now either classified as low income or in poverty. So what would you do? Well, the president's campaigning, and so since he can't run on his record, he's running on the politics of division and envy. And
what do you make of the fact that he's having Warren Buffett's secretary? First of all, I'd give that woman a raise.
Well, I was about to say,
use her as a political stomping horse here, I'd give her a big raise and put her into the top bracket. But leaving that aside, he's going to say there is something intrinsically unfair about that. All of this coming on the same day Governor Mitt Romney's taxes are out, he paying at that very low rate, and that I guess the president's saying, that's not right. Doesn't pass the smell test.
Well, what's really unfair is that under his policies, 1 in 7 now have to rely on food stamps. And as I said, what's really unfair is that half of America is either low income or poverty. The whole tax code is unfair. It needs to be scrapped.
So when he says it's unfair to the point that the rich are paying too little, you say what?
I say the whole tax code needs to be scrapped. People need to pay, quote unquote, their fair share. But his idea of fairness is one of equality of outcome. Our idea of fairness is one of equality of opportunity. And frankly, I find myself often agreeing with 80% of what the president says. I just disagree with 80% of what he does. And so why did Democrats in the super committee block fundamental tax reforms that Republicans put forth? Why is it that Republicans put in fundamental tax reform that would make rates more competitive, flatter, and fair, and yet the Democrats didn't put it in their proposal? Now, having said that, the Senate still doesn't have a budget. 1,000 days today, Neil,
right.
And the Democrats in the Senate have yet to bother to put forth a budget. Listen, the way we address fairness is not to tax some Americans more, it's to subsidize them less. Let's get rid of all the special interest subsidies that the president defends for companies like Solyndra. Let's end the bailouts, which his administration is still fostering, and let's simplify the tax code and make it fair, flatter, and simpler. But the president won't do this. He can't run on his record, thus the politics of division and envy.
We shall see. Congressman, very good seeing you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil.
Congressman Jeb Hensarling. All right, just to put things in perspective.